Good morning, Giants. Dude, I don't know what it is, but this morning I'm feeling excited about our future, nervous about our future, all of it, but I feel good. Uh, this Chroma screen that I got, I just bought this yesterday. I was thinking, oh, this will be a cool backdrop because you can change the screen and whatnot. Now, doing a live, it's not quite the same. It looks like just a big eyesore back there. Uh, but for the other videos, it's a good thing. I need it. Um, I am going to share kind of my journey this morning and what it took for me to get to where I am today. And this might be a little longer, but I feel like it's needed. I feel like when I was looking at giants and I'd look at their story, that I would often think, man, they made it so quick and it's so easy for them, and their journey was easy. They don't know what it's like to struggle, and I want you to know that I know what it's like to struggle and what it's like to go through hardship. And this book, The Giants and the Smalls, was born from hardship. Back in 08, 09, my world changed. So that was the time where the economy crashed the first time. I had to consider what it was I was going to do with my future. I was introduced to coaching through a good friend of mine, Dina Layton, and she was an amazing coach. And she taught me, she was the first person that gave me the seed of coaching. She was my first mentor, somebody that just really helped me to see my own value and that there is value in serving others. And so I was so intrigued by what she taught. She introduced a program called Impact Trainings that I went through, and that was impactful and powerful for me because it opened up my world even more. It just showed me, look, there's more to this world than just existing. There's more to this world than just pursuing riches and wealth and fame and all of that. And that was my first taste of it. Now, it didn't stick right away. It took me a long time to kind of come to where I am today, and I'll go through that. So in '08, the market crashed. My world crashed with it. I wasn't making any money, but I decided I wanted to be a coach. In November of '08, I did my first presentation online, and it was okay. I remember spinning this top on the table and talking about the wobble. So this was a concept I had come up with, that whenever you start something new, there's this wobble like on a top, and the top spins, and as it gets better or stabilizes, it smooths out, and we get better at things. So kind of the concept of you've got to work at something long enough to get good at it. Well, the top spins off the table and crashes and comes to pieces right in front of this audience, and I remember feeling really embarrassed, and it could have been a point in my life where I just quit, but I didn't. It was a lesson for me to just keep going. I started working for my brother in Park City. I was driving from West Jordan, Utah every day. It was about an hour commute up the mountain. And I was really broken mentally. I was feeling frustrated and struggling with my value as a human being. I had a few mentors along the way. I had a conversation with a gentleman named Steve Hardison, who you'll see on some of my posts here. I had a conversation with him one time, and I was asking him a question, and I said, can you, and before I could ask my question, he said yes. And I said, you don't know what I'm going to ask. And he said, it doesn't matter what you ask. There's nothing that you can ask that's bigger than me. And so the question is, will I? And man, it hit me, and I forgot what I was going to ask, and that became a part of this book that you'll see in there. The mentor that I used in the Giants, it's not just one mentor, it's multiple mentors that taught me things along the way on how to become a giant. They're all built into this character of Remerus Eckeritz, the giant. They're people that stood by my side along the way and showed me additional ways to become who I am today, and I still have a lot of growing to do. But Steve Hardison was one of those that made a huge impact. He introduced me to a guy named Steve Chandler, who's a best-selling author, who invited me to go through his courses And so I got a chance to do that. So while I was working full time, I was going to these events and learning how to coach and then building my coaching business on the side. Needless to say, I wasn't making a lot of money. I was bankrupt, ended up filing for bankruptcy. Our home was foreclosed on. We didn't have a place to stay. I was living in my in-laws' basement. My wife at the time was very frustrated. She said, if things don't change, our relationship's going to change. You got to go back to school. You got to get a job. And so that was hard for me because what I wanted to do was grow this book. And so as I was driving, I was feeling all these emotions of all of this, right? I'm going to my brother's work and I'm feeling stressed and down, like this is just not working. And I noticed the mansions on the hill. And I just thought, why are they living such giant lives while I'm living this small one? Why is it that they get to do all these things? Was it given to them? Were they entitled? Or are they trust babies? Did they earn it? I started thinking about that question. And so that became the base of my story, is what makes people live giant lives versus those that live small lives. And so I thought, man, I was listening to Spencer Johnson's Who Moved My Cheese. And if you haven't read that book, it's a book that's an allegory, a metaphor for our lives and how we make decisions. And I thought I could write something like this. And so I bought a recorder and I started recording, and I have the recorder here in my house that I used. And I would record this story as I would drive to work. And I would put myself into the world of these giants and these smalls. And I would imagine from the view of a small what it would be like to ask the giants how they became so giant and what it took for them to get to where they are. And so I'd write this story, and then I'd go home and I'd share it with my kids. And I'd ask them questions like, are you being a giant? Are you being a small? If they were afraid, I'd say, is that a small thing to do or a giant thing to do? And they would get the concepts. And I was like, yes, this is it. This is what I want to teach. And so I would transcribe it. I would take the recording and go home, and I don't type like regular typing. I'm a search and destroy kind of guy with one finger. So I would go home and write this story out and then put it on paper. And I still have the original form of the story, and it's a little different from what it is today, a little rougher than what it is today, because it took a lot of help for me to get it to where it is. But I wrote this story, and then in 2011, that's when my wife at the time said, you got to do something different. I put everything on hold. I went back to work and I went back to school, and I decided I wanted to do a psychology degree, but I needed something that would help me provide for my family. So I started doing car sales, and at first I wasn't very good at it. I thought, if I can make $3-4 grand a month, that would be awesome. That would be really helpful right now. And so I went to work. And while I was working, I was doing schooling online full time. So I'm working 10-hour days, and then any downtime I had, I would do my schooling. Well, I ended up being very good at sales. I was pulling over $100,000 a year in income from sales. And I was working full-time doing my degree. I ended up getting a 3.94 GPA in my bachelor's and the 3.96 GPA in my master's degree. I committed to it. I gave it everything. But in doing that, I traded my dream of doing coaching, consulting, and writing. I kind of put it on hold. In 2014, I was in a position where I could maybe, get the illustrations done on the book. So I started searching for an artist. I found a guy named Juan Tumburus out of Argentina, and I found him online, and I thought, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna ask him if he would help me illustrate my characters. Well, he gave me a character design that just brought this world of the giants and the smalls even closer to being alive the way it is today. And I tried to do a Kickstarter at that time. It was 2014. You can still see that one online. It failed. I didn't even get close. I think it was $800 is all I raised for that Kickstarter, and I had to put it on hold because I didn't have the money to pay for the illustrations. And so it was a little frustrating, but I didn't give up on it. And so I sat on that for years. It wasn't until 2018 that I was able to pick it up, reach out to the illustrator, and create an agreement to pay for illustrations 1 month at a time, and to do one illustration every month for a year. And in doing that, I created these illustrations with him that you see today on the Giants and the Smalls. And without him, man, he was the other half of this story that I needed, the visual half of the story that took this and put it out here into this world. In 2019, I ended up getting divorced from my wife. We were together 17 years. That was probably the darkest time of my life. And I had a choice to make. You know, it was April of 2019 that we separated, and we didn't get back together. We ended up divorcing in October of last year. And during that whole year, I had some serious soul searching to do. I was depressed to the point of having thoughts of suicide. I was depressed to the point of not wanting to move on, of not feeling like there was any chance of moving on. The thing that saved me was creating a purpose. It wasn't finding a purpose. It was creating and resuscitating my purpose, my story, and going after it. And so I put everything I had into this story over the past year. I've been working on it nonstop. Any downtime, going back to my downtime, there is no downtime for me. When I'm working, I work 12-hour days still. I still work full time. And then I create everything that I create just in my downtime. And so there is no downtime. So in my downtime, I would create the rest of the story. I send it out to beta readers, you know, and one step at a time. That was done, and I got some great ideas there and implemented those. I'd send it out to an editor and do what I could there. And then people started showing up. It's amazing. You know, last year I went to a networking event because we were building another business, and in that networking event I meet Richard Paul Evans, 34 New York Times bestsellers. Actually 40 New York Times bestsellers, over 34 million books sold. And I got to meet him. I had the funds to go to his course and go through his training. It shifted my whole thinking about this whole book and how I want to move forward with it. In January of this year, I went to his event. I came out of it, and I've been working feverishly to build a platform so that people can see this book. And I got to tell you, Richard Paul Evans is just an incredible human. If you get a chance to meet him, you should meet him. He's another giant in my life that gave me some more principles and teachings to help me even grow more, you know, and I'm still growing. I'll grow for the rest of my life. The concept of this book is to grow for the rest of your life. Became good friends with Paul Cardall, Susan Escalante, a bunch of other people that I just see as giants, powerful people. Robert Mooney, other authors that are in line with where I want to go, that are helping me in my journey as well. And it's just like when you commit and you go back, you go through the darkness, right? And you come out and you have this creation, this purpose, and you pick it back up, or you create it, whatever it is, that people come, they're attracted to that. And it's like you become a light in a sense. I'm not saying I'm a light to the world. I'm just saying that people get curious and interested and want to help. And so I've had all these people come out of the woodworks. I had a friend of mine who's now my business partner that I met through my job, who asked me if he could work with me, and I told him no. And then later I thought, I need to work with him. And I didn't know why. His name's Ryan Morris. But I felt this impression that I needed to work with him. And in working with Ryan over the past year, he was my friend through all this. He was the guy that helped me to be motivated when I'm down. He's the guy that all last night he's working, pushing this book out there talking to you guys just like I do during the day. He's like tag team, and he's it at night, and he's working hard. But he's pushing as hard as I am, and it drives me to push more, because this means success for our families. His family, my family. People like that come to you. They find you. I think the reason I woke up happy this morning is I open up my Facebook page, and I'm surrounded by giants. I'm surrounded by them. I have people posting videos and positive messages and just love and light and good news all around me. And I wake up into this morning, and I just think, Man, this is amazing. There are giants everywhere, and they're starting to wake up. And when that happens, you watch. You watch what happens. The smalls, in the sense of the story right now that we're going through, might throw a little tantrum. But the giants are going to come together in a way that you've never seen before. And if you're watching this, I hope this inspires you to step up into your light, into your giant nature, to make it a giant day, to make the choices to do that. My journey wasn't easy, not in any way. I went through poverty, went through divorce, went through severe depression, was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder in 2017. I've learned to manage that, and so I don't feel that as much because I've learned tools to help me to deal with that. And those are messages that I'm sharing in my videos and in my posts is, guys, you can do this. You can be uncomfortable, you can be depressed, you can be anxious, you can feel down, you can feel unmotivated, and you could still create giant things. And so this book is still in process. It's not out there to the world yet. We have a Kickstarter that we're launching. We're $3,500 into it. We need $9,500 for it to fund. If it doesn't fund, if I don't reach the goal, I don't get any of that money. It goes all back to those that pledged. And so it's an all or nothing platform. And so I've been pushing on building that. I've been pushing on getting the message out to the world right now because the world needs it. So we did the book for a buck thing. We're doing the show, the Wake Up with Giants TV show. Like, this is in my downtime. So there's no excuses. If you want to do something, you'll create the time to do it. Even if you get 10 minutes a day, you'll put 10 minutes into it, and that would be enough. Just understand that if you're waiting for it to shift so that you have more time or more money, that you might be waiting the rest of your life for your dream to come true. And so what I would invite you to do is not do that. Take your downtime. If you have downtime right now, put some energy into your creation, even if it's 5 minutes a day, even if it's 10 minutes a day, and that's all you've got. That's enough. Somebody asked me about faith, right? This morning there's this conversation about faith. And, faith is believing that your actions can have an impact on the outcome. And it's a loving move that just says, I trust the future enough that I'm going to put my energy into that. And we live in an environment right now where it's so fearful that fear wants your attention. And if you have love in your heart, faith in your heart, you're going to allow that fear to be present. It's okay. But you're also going to choose yourself and your dream, and you're going to step into that. And that's all I see faith as. I don't see it as a religious term. I see it as a human term, that we take the step into the darkness, trusting that there's going to be another step beyond that we can take. Guys, I have more stories that I wrote that I haven't put out yet. There's The Boy and the Bird, the Tortoise's Hair. There's a couple of books online. I've got more that I've written that I haven't done anything with yet, but they'll be out. But I've got to put my attention on the giants and the smalls, and that's what I'm doing. I know this is a bit of a ramble. Man, Wayne, I see that you've stayed with me on here. I appreciate that. Some of you will have to go back through and watch this. I know it's early in the morning. But just make it a giant day. That really is it. Just go out there and make a choice for you that's going to benefit you. Go out there and make it a giant day. Make it a day where you could step into your potential. Smile today. Get dressed today. Look for an opportunity to adapt to this whole situation today. Find a way to bring your dream into reality today. Make it a giant day. Everything that we're doing at this point is trying to help you get that message. Making the book available for $1. The Stretch Revolution, that's free when you do that. It's a year's worth of stretches and daily motivation to help you step into your giant potential. And it's basically $1, and you get my book too. Go do that. Go read the book and then take the stretches and go grow into your life. The Kickstarter, we do need help there. We've got 15 days left or 14 days left to raise another $6,000 on that. If I don't raise it, it's okay. I'll find another way. But if we don't raise it, we don't get any of the funds. And if we don't get the funds, then I don't go to print yet. And so it would just be a delay. But that's it. Our TV show. Watch our TV show Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. I'll post it back on Facebook. So if you don't want to watch it on Sunday, watch it another day. Come back and watch it. And listen to giants and their stories and how they grew and how they got big. And a lot of them don't think they're giants, but they are. I'll tell you, they are. Man, go through Facebook and surround yourself with giants right now. If you're feeling like you want to be a giant, start shining your light. Turn the light on. Let people know you're here and start doing your thing regardless of what others say. I appreciate you being with me. My journey is a little all over the place. It's still going, and there's still a lot to do. We're just getting going. I'll tell you that. It's been 11 years, but we're just getting going. And so you guys make it a giant day. I'll see you in the next video. And, you know, just to finalize, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks for being a part of this. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for helping us to get it to where it is today. And by us, I say there are us. It's not just me building this. And so I want to let you know that I'm grateful. And so make it a giant day. I'll talk to you in the next video. Thank you.